Okay, let's do this. Okay, welcome to another edition of Complete Sports Media's podcast. I'm your host, Darren Campbell, and we're coming to you on a beautiful sunny Monday. This is the first podcast we've done in quite some time where both of us were not working today. Jason Cameron, looking fresh, looking spry, has spent the past, 72, 96 hours in bed, really just getting refreshed. Glad you could pull yourself out of bed and do this podcast today, man. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, man. So am I. So am I. You know what? I'm just going to step right into it. Weekend was fantastic. I really appreciate the friends and family I have because I am super fortunate that so many people want to celebrate my birthday and just continue celebrating it.
Nice.
For the month.
Yeah,
so
the whole month. Yeah, that's brilliant.
Yeah, it's pretty brilliant. So, because already last weekend, not this past weekend, but the weekend before, I was with a friend. We celebrated both our birthdays. Then this past Friday, I went out with other friends who wanted to celebrate my birthday yet again.
Wow.
So that's me doubling down and just having more fun.
Sweet.
It was awesome.
Yeah,
we went to fantastic place. That's one of my favorites. I know it's one of your favorites too. Smitty's Oyster House on Main and 16th in that area.
Yeah.
The food there is immaculate. The staff is incredible. They treated us so incredibly well. We had a great time, and I ate a ton.
Yeah.
And I got eating.
Yeah, no, I love that place so much. They got that original location in Gibson's, phenomenal. So happy when they brought a location here. Me and Joey Robertson, we've had a few great nights there, and I've been on another few occasions. It's awesome. Jade, our friend Jade, just lives around the corner from there, so good location. We were shooting at the Heritage Hall on this latest show, and was just right on the same block there. So that was good. Got an opportunity to go have a meal and a drink or two. And yeah, it is one of the I'd say one of the newest gems in the city for sure.
Oh yeah, I'd say it's one of the newest and best gems in the city, and I hope it doesn't go anywhere anytime soon and stays open for a very long time because their food is really good. Like really, really, really good.
Exceptional. Yeah, exactly. On Saturday, we went down in that area of town. We tried to go to Courtside, which is on Main and about 8th, and they had an hour and a half lineup to even just get in. So they gave us a suggestion, a place called AJ's. It's a pizza place just around the corner on Broadway, and went there. It was amazing. Some of the best pizza I've ever had in my entire life. They got this deep dish Detroit style pizza there, and holy crap, it was just absolutely phenomenal, amazing. I could have eaten about 3 pizzas. It was just amazing. I got to watch the NCAA while I was sitting there, and yeah, I recommend it. AJ's around the corner. Friends of Courtside, they said go there. You'll get a seat. Just let them know we're full, and we told you to come over. And boom, they got us a best seat in the house.
Nice. I like that when restaurants help each other out. Say, all right, well, we can't serve you, these guys can. And now that you've said that this pizza joint is so immaculate and amazing, I wonder if they deliver. Curious.
I saw Uber Eats and Skip the Dishes guys kept coming and grabbing food and taking it. So
all right. Maybe something to try out for sure.
Yeah.
All right, that's cool. But hey, that's great to hear though that Courtside is obviously doing very well. If they have an hour and a half lineup, and it's great to know that we do have basketball fans in the city. Not everybody's just a hockey fan.
I know. I'm just so thrilled that it's there and it's happening and showing that we do have massive amounts of basketball fans. We got there plenty of time to watch the first NCAA game, And no, it was no hour and a half. They said, guys, and I'm like, holy crap, there's no way we're waiting that long. And went around the corner, watched that game. It was that Florida Atlantic
Florida
Kansas
Atlantic.
State game.
Yeah.
And another massive upset, Florida Atlantic, ninth seed in the tournament, getting to advance to the first Final Four in school history. And, just really shocking the world this whole entire tournament.
That I wanted to say I thought that game was the most exciting out of all the Elite Eight games. I thought that was fast paced, high scoring. Guys it was like body blows. They were just trading body blows back and forth, back and forth. I love that game.
Yeah,
I absolutely love that game. And that ninth seed, they didn't play no ninth seed. No
No.
ninth seed I've ever seen before.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. I think the NCAA is a little worried and concerned because all their blue blood teams are not in it. I listed them last week, and those are the teams that drive the revenue for them. They're the teams that, always attract the highest top level talent. I think there's going to be some big rule changes to stop this from happening. I think this is a one and done where there's all these teams. 3 of the 4 teams are making their first trip to the Final Four. Unprecedented, just crazy amount of upsets. But I know the NCAA is money hungry, as most sports organizations are. And I don't think they're going to allow this to happen. I think they're going to change the rules after that. What do you think?
I don't know what they can do to stop it because they've already allowed the portal transfer system, which makes movement between players just like snap of the hands that quickly. And so with that being said, and then also too with the fact that guys do one and dones and stuff, I think you're going to see more of this going forward. I think the NCAA tournament is literally up for grabs now because this is like the third time I think where some of the blue bloods have just not even been involved in anything in the final stages of the NCAA tournament.
Well, my prediction is that they're going to change the rules to stop this, either making it a not a one and done type of thing. You lose once and you're out of the tournament, or forcing people that are playing have to have 2 years, 3 years in college. They can't do one and dones. They can't just join a college team and then leave for the NBA after a season. I think they're going to try to implement stuff like that. This transfer portal was a brilliant idea because it really sucked if you joined a team, maybe they fired the coach and suddenly you're not in the good graces of a coach and suddenly you're riding the pine. You're not able to really show your skills. You get stuck. You want to transfer to another school. You have to miss a whole redshirt year and sit out. I like that they have this transfer portal. I think it's brilliant for movement of players that aren't in a good fit in a good situation, but I don't think the NCAA will allow this to happen. They want the Dukes, the UNCs, the Kentuckys. They want those teams in it every year, and I think they're going to make some drastic changes to ensure that's the case.
Well, I know they want them in there every year because those are the teams that fans are familiar with, right? But at the same time, landscape's changing. Like some of these guys that are just excellent players aren't even going to college now.
Yeah.
So now you just don't. You have less players to draw from. That's what I'm saying. You have less players to draw from.
Sure.
So if you have less players to draw from, that means those institutions that you can always count on are going to be depleted because they can't get those players either. So
yeah. The G League Ignite has really drawn some players away. We've got teams in Europe that are bringing guys on, not having to go the college route. It still ensures you the ability to be scouted and get opportunities in the NBA because the global scouting has hit every team now, and there are differences and changes, but I think this was kind of one of the most unprecedented NCAAs. I love the upsets. I think it's exciting. I think it's phenomenal. I can't believe how much I've been talking to people about, holy cow, did you see number 16 one, number 15 one? Can you believe the upsets? And I think I'm talking to more people about it than I ever really remember ever doing it year by year before.
Oh yeah, me too. Obviously. How about this? Is there anybody anywhere that actually got this Final Four right? Is there such a thing that anybody got this Final Four right? I don't think there is.
I
No.
amazingly heard that there's still a couple people in the running with brackets
What?
have figured it out. Yeah, I heard that yesterday, and I rewound it and I listened to it again, and I rewound it and listened to it again. And I'm like, really? There was actually some people that have still are in it with a bracket that hasn't been busted. That's incredible.
Well, that's incredible because that means that's like your grandmother saying, "You know what, Granny, just pick whatever you want," and they pick it, and then she just like, "Wait, so she has the perfect bracket?" My grandma knows nothing about basketball.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it could be something like that. Somebody likes the color of the uniforms, the names of the nicknames, throwing darts at a dartboard. I've seen some weird ways of predicting sports. I remember there was an octopus where they would let it out of its little hole and it would come out, and if it swam close to one of the helmets, they were picking that in the Super Bowl. Stupid stuff like this. But yeah, if somebody knows basketball, college basketball this well and can predict that all these teams made it and actually ends up, predicting the final winner, I'll be pretty amazed and shocked. And I'd love to get some predictions and picks and get the guy on the podcast for sure, or even his granny if it was his granny.
Yeah, man. I would love to see that too, because it's like, well, obviously, what are you like, a Nostradamus? See the future? Because that's the only way that you're being able to do that. It's either by purest of luck or you can see something coming ahead. Because as far as I'm concerned, that is the most unorthodox Final Four I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, I've been absolutely stunned and shocked. And the comebacks that I've seen, you see the higher seeded team gets up 10, 12, 13 points, and you're thinking, okay, well, this is done. And this lower seed just marches back, storms back, gets on a big run, and some of the comebacks that I've seen, it's something we've been seeing in the NBA because of the 3-point shot, because of the way teams have that ability to turn over the ball and get back right away and score, go to the free throw line. We've seen some crazy comebacks. I'm impressed so much with the defense that I'm seeing. I'm actually seeing incredible defense from a lot of these colleges, way better defense than I'm seeing in the NBA these days.
Well, yeah, I think for some of these teams, that's what they have to hang their hat on, is playing aggressive, hard-nosed defense. Like San Diego State, that's what they do. That's what that team does, is they play aggressive, in-your-face, hard-nosed defense. I wish we saw more of that in the NBA. But then again, I guess that would mean they'd have to, put in effort. Sometimes that's just not a thing. It's just not a thing.
Yeah, it's shocking the difference. The difference between the two games now is just so it's like two different sports almost. To watch a college game and an NBA game, there's not much that's the same.
No, there isn't much that's the same. It's jarring. It's jarring at times, right? But obviously, like, there's the skill level, but there's also the effort level, and these kids are trying. Whereas opposed to the pros, that's not always the case.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're right. These guys are still playing it to get to the big show. And then once they join the big show, it's like defense. Oh, I don't play that anymore. Great. Woohoo. Never like playing in college, high school, anything before. So now I don't have to play it here.
Yeah, exactly. All said.
Ryan Nembhard, Canadian brother in the NBA already. He gets whistled for a foul with 1.2 seconds left. As the Creighton player was, as the San Diego State player was driving to the hoop, they call him on a ticky-tack foul. His hand was kind of
on the waist.
Yeah, and they had kept their whistle in their pocket almost the entire game. There was only been 22 fouls called in the entire game before that moment. 17 only free throw attempts, 17 free throw attempts, and they had really set the tone in that entire game where they were allowing physical contact.
Yeah.
How the hell do they blow that call? That game should have went to overtime and 5 more minutes to decide the winner. Not the referee suddenly out of the blue making a call that he hadn't made all game long. That's brutal. That was so infuriating. It made me so choke. It was a great game. For how competitive it was. 57-56. I don't like a low scoring game like that, but I mean, didn't they deserve 5 more minutes? That call was ridiculous.
I would say yes. They deserve 5 more minutes. But in the letter of the law, was it a foul? Well, of course, it was a foul. But once the refs set the tone of the game and they're not calling that, then you don't expect that. No, and I agree with you. You don't expect that. You don't expect that to be called. And then also too, I do wonder. All right, because he did have his hand on his side. Did that alter his shot? No. Because that was where the foul was.
Yeah.
I don't think so. Because I don't even think there was I don't think there was force where he pushed him. I don't think there was. It was just a guide so that he knew where he was to try to block the shot.
Yeah. No, I believe the NCAA officials watching it, they should have called the timeout. They should have went to the scorer's table. They should have had a discussion. Was that a foul? Was that really the call that had to be made? I can't believe that the NCAA tournament officials that are watching it, on their big screens in the control room weren't like, hey, no, that wasn't a foul. That didn't alter the shot. He wasn't pushing him. He just had it as he was jumping up to try to swipe the ball away with his other hand. He just had his hand out and it just happened to be on the guy's waist on his hip there. It did not deserve to end that game and end the season for Creighton, who had a phenomenal run themselves.
Yeah, they had a phenomenal run. Actually, you know what? When that foul did get called, I thought he got him from behind when he was trying to block the shot. I thought it was a foul on the hand.
At first, I thought that's what they were calling, but when you looked at the replay, no, he didn't connect with that other hand. So
it was poor. It was poor showing. It sucked. It was unfortunate. But there you go. San Diego State gets the nod and gets in.
Yeah, I love San Diego State. I've enjoyed the Aztecs. I actually remember them with Kawhi was there, and how talented he was, how far he brought them. I've always thought, hey, this team, if they can attract guys from Kawhi's year, Kawhi Leonard, MVP of the final a couple of times, won a couple championships. Considered one of the best defensive players of his time. One of the top guys to go there and gain some prominence for that school. Their most famous basketball player before Kawhi was there was Tony Gwynn, the baseball Hall of Famer. He played basketball as well. But I've cheered for them and I'm happy they're there. I just wish that actually went to overtime and we got a fair 5 more minutes to really decide the victor.
No, 5 more minutes would have been great for all the fans just across the board because it was a great game. It was a great game, came right down to the wire, and then unfortunately the referee had to put in their input in the last couple of seconds.
I was pretty stunned by the comeback by Miami, Florida, beating Texas yesterday. Texas had an absolutely incredible season, and I really thought they were going to beat Miami here. They had them down by a dozen. Even as the clock started ticking down by 10, you're thinking, okay, well, this was a great run for Miami, but Texas went cold. Great defense by Miami, and they capitalized on their chances, and bam, that was a fun game and an incredible comeback win.
Incredible comeback. Miami they just locked them down. They said, yeah, that's enough for you. And they just came storming back. I was impressed because I thought the game was over. Yeah. I was just like, all right, well, what else is on? This game is done. And then when I come back and I was like, whoa, wait, what? They're coming back.
That
I was
was
impressed. I was
that
impressed.
was awesome. That was so good. Yeah, I kind of thought, well, we had the same thing happen on Saturday, where the first game was great and the second game was a dog.
Yeah.
UConn really just blew Gonzaga out of the
Oh,
water.
very
I've
much.
been a Zags fan for a long, long time. They have really always been faithful to Canadian basketball talent. Pretty much every single year that I've been watching them, they've had a couple of Canadians on the team, and I really have cheered for the Zags. They play in a conference that doesn't really test them super much through the year, and they usually dominate, make the tournament every year, but they fade out. Usually Sweet 16,
Elite.
Elite Eight at times. I was sad to see that they ran out of gas. It seemed like that UCLA victory was their championship, and they put all their blood, sweat, and tears into that, and they just didn't have enough for to beat UConn.
No, they didn't. And like it's just like their offense just went cold, went ice cold,
Yeah.
went like down to the South Pole cold. Like they
Yeah.
had nothing.
No. Yeah, that was tough. As I mentioned earlier, 3 teams in the tournament making their first Final Four ever, and UConn hasn't been there since 2014. So incredible that these 4 made it. I see that UConn is the betting favorite right now. They are supposed to win. But can you say that with what we've
No,
seen?
no,
Can you really, would you bet the house? Would you put all your money down on them taking it?
absolutely not. No way.
No.
No way. No, not on this particular NCAA tournament. Like I couldn't put money down on any one of them. I think it's a crapshoot. I think any one of those 4 teams can win.
Yeah.
Personally, I think any one of the 4 teams can win.
I've got the odds here. UConn is minus 134.
Okay.
Both Miami and San Diego State are plus 400 to win it all, and Florida Atlantic plus 600. So they are the Cinderellas that's still alive. Being the 9th seed, I guess that makes sense. And I can't wait to see the Final Four. I heard a few guys today say, "No, I'm done now. That was good. That was fun, but I'm done now." I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? These last 3 games are going to be incredible. And I can't wait. The first game is Florida Atlantic against San Diego State. That tips off 3:09 Pacific, 6:09 Eastern on Saturday. And then the second game, 8:49 Eastern, 5:49 Pacific. That's number 4 UConn against number 5 Miami. Pretty crazy that 2 teams from the Miami, South Florida region are making it. That must be really good for their recruiting efforts and really good for the talent that's coming out of that part of the world.
Oh yeah, no, I think that's fantastic. I think that's great because nobody ever would have thought that was going to happen. For sure, nobody ever thought that was going to happen. And for Florida Atlantic, nobody knew that they were that talented,
Yeah.
and they are. They are that talented.
Man. Loved watching them. Have just fallen in love with that program and that organization. And I bet you the recruiting staff there are just so pleased because they've just made their job so much easier to convince good talent to go there.
Oh yeah, that makes it. Winning makes everything easier, as they say.
So great. Yeah. I'm excited. Usually I'm working, 12-hour days, and I can't catch this March Madness. I usually record a bunch and I, flip through and watch especially if I hear that, close games and stuff. But this is probably the tournament that I've watched the most in many, many, many years.
Yeah. I've had a chance to watch myself now finally from this prior week, so it's been enjoyable. It's nice to actually be like home and be like, I'm comfortable. I can put the game on. It's good. It's good.
Yeah, no, it's so great. Yeah, I do love college basketball. I don't follow it as much through the season as I would love to, but I think now that I've seen how the game is I'm going to dedicate a lot more time to it moving forward next season, and I hope they don't change the rules, but I think rules are coming that will stop this type of tournament from happening again.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I like this. Be honest with you. I like the fact that these little known schools have a chance now. I love it. I think it's better that there's more parity. I think it's better because then it's not necessarily that you have to go to a Duke or a UNC to be known. You go to any one of these schools to be known. Just as long as you're good, people are going to notice you.
Well, my favorite NBA players of all time are Steve Nash, Steph Curry, guys like that. Look at the schools they went to. They only became known because they got to the NCAA tournament, were able to pull off a couple of upset wins and move farther in the tournament, prove themselves on the big stage, and finally get to the NBA. Most people didn't think they would have much of an NBA career, and both have two-time MVPs and two of the best shooters of all time. Some of the guys that are on these four teams are probably going to shock the world and join the NBA and be those guys that we talk about years from now.
Yeah, for sure. Like I've said before, like this is their platform to shine. This is their opportunity to. If nobody was talking about them before, well, they're going to talk about them now.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was fun. It's been fun, and I'm glad it's not over. There's going to be a few more games to watch, so can't wait. A friend of mine texted me last week, and he said, "How the hell can people not love sports?" And I've been thinking about that ever since he texted that to me, and I've been just like, I feel so privileged, so lucky, so happy that I was introduced to sports by my father, by my grandfather, by people in my life, and I just have great weekends. Almost every single weekend is great because I've got sports there, and I'm going to find great things to watch and amazing moments to have.
No, yeah. Like it's sports is a unifying factor. It's a unifying for communities, for the people, for the city. It's just unifying. And then also those great moments or those unbelievable moments where you're just like, well, that shouldn't have happened. Or how could that have happened? No, those are the great moments that you look for, that you want to see, because you want to be amazed when you watch these sports, and more than often you are amazed.
Yeah. Oh, I was having a great chat with the guy sitting next to me at this AJ's place. He was talking about hoops, and we were having a fantastic conversation about hoops. I'm gonna take you to courtside. We're gonna pick a day soon. We're gonna go there definitely when the NBA playoffs kick off, but you and I have to go to courtside. You have to be known by them. I've met the owner on a few occasions. Great guy. He's the guy that suggested the AJs to me. We're going to be like Norm walking in. Cheers. I want to have a regular seat. I want to know everybody. I've already had amazing conversations with people around me talking hoops, and you can tell there's no way anybody in there isn't a hoops fan, which is fucking amazing. Amazing.
Yeah. No, and that's awesome. That's awesome. We've been needing like a restaurant like that for a long, long time, and now we finally have it. And I'm ecstatic, and I can't wait to go with you to check it out.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it for sure. We're gonna have a blast. It's awesome. Okay, I do want to mention what I got on the TV here on this side. I've got some NBA going on. There was a huge game on the schedule tonight. It was the Denver Nuggets against the Philadelphia 76ers. We were going to get to see Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic, the last chance to shine against each other for the MVP race. And guess what happens?
Who got injured or who was kept out? Let me guess. Was it Joel Embiid?
Yeah.
Yep.
Load management given. He's got a strained calf. Just wimped out, decided, no, I don't want to go against Jokic. I'm too afraid. And I think that maybe shifts the balance back over to Jokic for winning his third straight MVP. I think it was a cowardice move. He played on the weekend. He played both games back to back. I was so disappointed when I heard he wasn't playing tonight.
I'm kind of surprised that he chose this game to take off.
Yeah.
Or you know what? Maybe he didn't choose it. Maybe like the medical staff said, no, you have to take this game off. Either way, you're coming right down to the wire, my friend, for an MVP race. So going up against the other nominated front runner MVP guy, that's probably a good game that you need to play in if you're not seriously injured.
Yeah, they spanked Denver last time, and it would have been just, probably a nail in the coffin for Jokic if Embiid just dominated him again and had a huge, huge night. And this was such a disappointment. I was pretty choked. It didn't come. I hate load management. I don't see it in most of the other sports, and basketball, I think it's starting to really ruin the experience for a lot of the fans, and it's making the regular season kind of seem irrelevant and not as important as it should be. And it's kind of it's something that and the NBA better address, because it's happening way too much.
Well, like we were talking about before, they have to address it because their TV contracts are coming up, and then those guys are going to be like, you're stars, right? They don't play that much. So I don't know if we're going to give you a lot of money.
Yeah. I could see the TV companies, organizations being like, yeah, what the heck's this? I'm scheduling such a big game. The schedule tonight. It's a Monday. You're like, oh, what do we want to watch? Wow, we got Jokic against Embiid. Holy cow! The world turns to it. It's on TV. And one of the stars is out. It's just not a good look, and it's happening way too often for my liking. I'm really shocked at how often there's these big matchups and you're not seeing all the stars there.
No, it happens a heck of a lot more than what it did in the past.
Yeah,
I'm used to seeing, like, you remember when Michael Jordan just played all 82 games?
Yeah,
like that's what he did. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he just played. Now, oh no, you're lucky. Or if you have like a guy like Kyrie, maybe 50, maybe I don't know. Hopefully we can get him for 50.
Yeah, I can't wait to get into the full NBA talk near the end after we talk about the UFC, because there are some interesting stories coming out of the NBA. LeBron's back. Can you believe it? One thing I do want to mention is the longest playoff drought in NBA history is about to end tonight. The Sacramento Kings have not been in the playoffs since the 2005-2006 season, and they win tonight, or two of the teams lose. It looks like it's happening. Finally ending this huge drought.
No, that's good. That's great. That's great for the city, who they've suffered for so long, for so incredibly long. And you know what? And that, I love watching that team. That team is exciting to watch. So they're fantastic, great, and that's what the fans deserve. The fans finally got themselves a good team to watch, and a team that's going to make the playoffs finally.
Yeah, I love this beam that they bring out of the stadium. That signifies victories. I wonder if you can see it from space. It seems like it goes super high and far away from Sacramento. You probably get to see it from planes going over, but it's kind of a new addition and pretty fun for them. Great to see, man. It's been a long time, and I feel your pain. I'm a Canucks fan, unfortunately, and they just barely ever make the playoffs. I've had teams where they've struggled for many years, and I've had to, just stay with them, even though I didn't really want to, but that's my team. And to endure this long, it's been so brutal, so terrible.
Oh no, that it is incredibly brutal. Like, you just have to keep enduring, and you're not even making the playoffs. You're not even getting a sniff at it. But now, hopefully for the Kings going forward, they now have a team that they're going to make the playoffs for the next couple of years.
Yeah. Okay, let's switch gears to the UFC. Okay, so I've been really frustrated at the UFC. Hasn't really transitioned away from the Apex because I don't find the Apex gives you much atmosphere. Definitely need to really start pulling away and barely ever having cards there. They were in San Antonio this weekend, this Saturday. The atmosphere was electric. People were in their seats right from the start of the early prelims, and there was 8 Texans on the card. A lot of them had tons of success. The energy, the electricity in there was absolutely phenomenal, and I really love it that they're going to these places. The local talent gets to fight in front of their friends and family, and the atmosphere, the energy is just it's night and day from the Apex to some of these ones that are on location.
Oh yeah. No, it's better to have the audience and the fans there than not to have the audience and the fans. They're the ones that give the energy to the fighters in the octagon. I'm sure the fighters are more appreciative when the fans are there, because they, drawing energy from the crowd, that's a real thing.
Yeah,
And then we draw it from them at home when we see the excitement. It builds our excitement, so it's better.
Yeah. I had a couple moments where I was really, really touched. One moment before we get into the card fully, I want to talk about Donald Cerrone getting the call from the Hall of Fame. Well deserved. One of the most deserving candidates. Had an absolutely phenomenal career. They surprised him. They surprised his. They surprised him. They surprised the broadcast crew. His family and his kids came, and it was a touching moment for me. I have been blessed with so many amazing performances from him, seen him live many times, and this is a guy that just fought anywhere, anytime, against anybody. 15-year MMA career, four years in the WEC, moves to the UFC, 11 years, top of the record books in almost every category you could think of, and it was super cool. The UFC surprising him and nominating him, inducting him, which will happen in July.
Yeah, it was awesome because I think even in the broadcast booth, one of the guys goes, "We got him, and I." You know what? The one thing about Donald Cerrone that I've always appreciated is that he's just genuine.
Yeah.
He's always been genuine, and he says what he means, and he does what he says.
Yeah.
And when he says, "Nah, I'll fight anybody anytime," no, that dude will throw down at any point in time, anywhere, anytime. Like I think there was the one year there. I swear he had an unprecedented 8 or 9 fights in a year, which was absolutely ridiculous. And I think he holds the most amount of post-fight bonuses ever, 16 or whatever it was.
18.
Sorry, I misspoke. 18. It's
post-fight
like
bonuses,
this,
most
and just the amount of exciting fights that he's always given us.
Yeah.
I will say this for sure. When Donald Cerrone was fighting, he's absolutely right. Hey, is there a bar close? Cerrone's fighting. It's time to watch him. And he's right. He was must-watch television for a very, very long time. Sucked that he had to call it a career, but he knew when it was time. And I just wish him all of the best, especially now in his fledgling acting career, which I know he's going to kill it. So,
yeah, you're right. Most post-fight bonuses, tied for the most with Charles Oliveira, 18. The most active fighter almost every year that he was there, 11 years of promotion. He's tied for the second most wins with Andrei Arlovski, 23. Second most finishes, tied with Jim Miller at 16. Third most bouts ever in the promotion, 38. Most knockdowns, 20, and on and on and on. Just such a incredible decorated career. You look at the fighters that he fought too. He wasn't fighting joke guys. They weren't just putting him up against whoever. You cannot believe the killers that he had to fight over the past 11 years. He fought Oliveira. Yeah, best of the best. Oliveira, Benson Henderson, Eddie Alvarez, Edson Barbosa, Matt Brown, Conor McGregor, Jorge Masvidal, Robbie Lawler, Justin Gaethje, just on and on and on and on and on. This is such a prestigious class that's going in July the 6th, part of International Fight Week in Vegas. Anderson Silva, Jose Aldo, and Jens Pulver. This is incredible. I cannot wait to see them put it together, and all the highlight reels we're going to see. It's an awesome class, and I'm so happy that he's part of this this class. Only 39 years old, in the Hall of Fame, was able to celebrate with his family and friends, and it was cool that they surprised him and were able to really honor him this way right away.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. And I have to say, those names you just mentioned, this might be their strongest Hall of Fame class like ever that they've ever inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame. Like this is, and that's as elite and as good as it gets.
Yeah, the only one that I think rivals it was when Daniel Cormier and Khabib got put in just last year. So yeah, the quality of the fighters that are going into the Hall of Fame right now are amazing. The last time I got to see Cowboy fight was against Justin Gaethje here in Vancouver. You were there as well, and it was a great card. Why I bring it up also is that a local guy from here, Tristan Connolly, fought this Brazilian guy who was coming into the UFC with massive hype, very much way bigger opponent than Tristan Connolly. Tristan was given 4 days notice, I believe, when he was replacing somebody for the fight. He came in, and Michel Pereira started doing his capoeira moves and started dancing around. You couldn't believe the size difference between Pereira and Connolly when you saw them fighting each other. And Connolly just used his pressure approach, just kept at it, and won the fight. And the loudness of the cheering, some of the best I've ever heard. Absolutely just phenomenal how much the local crowd got behind the local boy, and he and willed him to win. And one of my favorite moments witnessing live in the history of sports. And I've been watching sports live my entire life, and it was such a moment.
No, it was an incredible moment because it was literally like a David versus Goliath like event. Yeah. That was that kind of fight, and he figured out a way to tire the big man out to get the win. Yeah. And that was basically it. And I couldn't have been happier and more prouder of him. I've met him on several occasions through a good, very, very good friend of mine, and he's a great guy, and he deserved that moment. He really did.
And the incredible thing was Pereira didn't make weight, so Connolly got fight of the night, got both bonuses, got $100,000 bonus, plus his win bonus, plus his show bonus, and changed his life. It was an incredible moment, and it just made me realize why the UFC is so good of a live sporting event. And when you have moments like this, you'll never forget it. Nobody in that place was sitting. Nobody in that place wasn't cheering. Everybody that left that arena would have been telling their friends and their family and anybody that they talked to about that night, about that moment. And it makes fans lifelong fans of the UFC when you have moments like that.
No, it absolutely does. Absolutely does, because that creates those memories that you'll always remember. Right? And it's those memories that you'll always remember, especially at sporting events of that kind of significance. So, yes, I agree with you. Less Apex, more just arenas around the country. That's what they should be focusing in on now, especially now as COVID gets more and more in our rearview mirror. That's what the UFC should be transitioning to now.
We had a moment like this on this card. As I mentioned earlier, right off the top, we had 8 Texans on the card, and we ended up having a local boy, hometown San Antonio born and bred guy, who came out in the second fight of the night in the prelims. CJ Vergara fought Daniel da Silva. Daniel da Silva, Brazilian. CJ Vergara, the San Antonio resident. It made me just immediately go back to that Connolly Pereira fight because it's the local guy against this Brazilian. Brazilian came out. Wow, he caught him on a few occasions. Had Vergara in all sorts of trouble. I have actually never seen a UFC fighter run as much as I saw Vergara running to try to avoid that one kill shot that would have ended his night and ended this storybook happening. He ran and ran and ran until he got his wits about him, ended up surviving that first round, and came out in that second round and got the victory. And that crowd was absolutely in full throat. So happy seeing their local San Antonio boy pulling off the victory over the big bad Brazilian. And it was fight of the night. He won his $50K bonus. And it was one of those moments, again, for me, that reminded me of why the UFC can be so great.
Yeah. Like, because Lacerda almost had him out of there in that first round. Like, I thought, the fight's over. But credit to Vergara for just to do whatever he needed to do to survive the round.
Yeah.
And then he came out and said, no, I don't think it's going to end like that. It's going to end the way I want it to. And Lacerda had pretty much emptied his gas tank.
Yeah.
He was dead on his feet. He was tired. And then Vergara took advantage of that. Round and pound, got the win. It was a big time like comeback win for him. Big time comeback win.
One of the biggest comeback wins ever. Once he got him on the ground and was elbowing him and ground and pounding him, I just kept saying, "Stop it, Herzog! Stop it! It's gonna happen! Oh my god!" And he just couldn't quite get it. And then he would have to turn him over a little bit and try to land a few more. And it was lasting. What did it? 4 minutes into that round, and I'm like, no, he's got to finish it. He's got to finish it. This will be the best comeback ever. And finally, Herzog jumps in and saves Lacerda. The funny thing was, at first, the Silva's coming into the cage. Lacerda's coming into the cage, and I'm thinking, hey, this is the Silva, isn't it? And somehow he changed his last name. I don't know how or why, but this is Daniel da Silva. I've seen him many times over the years fight. And all of a sudden, he's got this different last name. I'm thinking, oh, this is sort of. I'm started trying to look into it. What's going on? And then, holy cow, he caught him with that heel in the temple. And walled him pretty badly. And then was chasing him around. It was pretty funny how much running there was going on, just trying to avoid getting that shot that would put him out. And he said he felt fuzzy. He was feeling like not quite there, just a little bit off, but he just felt like he could if he could survive, he might have a chance. And da Silva Lacerda has gassed out. He has 11 first round. He had 11 victories, and they were all in the first round. He doesn't he hasn't fought in the third round ever in his career. You could tell. I think he would have gassed out probably no matter what, but after putting that much output out, he just didn't have anything left by the end of this second round, and it was so great to see Vergara just jump on it and get the victory. Just awesome, and the Texas crowd was just so happy to see their hometown guy get the win.
No, they were ecstatic because they didn't think that he was going to win at first. Because I know I didn't think he was going to win at first. Lacerda is an absolute killer in that first round. But if you can survive him, which he did in that first round, then you got yourself a chance.
Yeah.
And Vergara capitalized on that in the second.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about the main event. I've been talking about why I love the UFC going to these hometowns and these big events in front of crowds and stuff, but I'm very angry with the Texas Athletic Commission. I think they do a very poor job with the judging, the refereeing. I can't believe that they would put a judge in place for the main event against Corey Sandhagen and Marlon Chito Vera, and he had Vera winning 48-47 in one of the most lopsided main events we're going to see. This was 5-0 in my opinion, maybe 4-1 if you just were a little bit generous, but to have somebody that thought that Vera won that fight is just criminal. And this judge, I can't believe that he could see it this way. It was outrageous, and it's just happening so much that we got to change this. This can't be something that we have to discuss over an impressive performance by Corey Sandhagen. One of the greatest fights I've seen him fight against a super tough guy. But man, when they read that, the first judge, Bruce Buffer, reads 48-47 Vera, I'm like, are you kidding me? What the hell is this? And that happens too much in Texas. I'm seeing it happen way too often.
Well, my face was like Sandhagen's face, which was like, wait, what? Did I hear that right? Huh? No, man, it did like, you know what? I think what they should institute is some of these judges should be graded on their judging, and then be like, okay, that was egregious. You're not judging for the next, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 or 8. Or like, you're just not judging for like the next 4 months.
Yeah.
In any mixed martial arts event, period. You don't know what you're doing.
You don't know what
you
you're
need
doing.
to go back to school and figure out how to judge properly, right? Because when I heard that, I was just like, that can't be a thing. And I'm sorry, it just can't be a thing. Because you're taking away from the exquisitiveness of Sandhagen's game plan against Vera, which was this. He overloaded him into thinking too much, which stifled Vera's offense.
Completely.
And that's exactly what he did. He overloaded him with his thinking. He mixed up his takedowns, his grappling, to his striking, to his switching of stances, to everything. He hit him with everything and different combinations, everything. He overloaded Vera's brain, and then Vera was hesitant to pull the trigger. Now, if he just fought, I think he would have been great. But he didn't know what was going to be coming back at him. That's why he didn't know what to throw.
Yeah.
For 5 rounds, he didn't know what to throw.
5 whole rounds. Yeah. We saw him pull a win out of the jaws of defeat against Dominic Cruz when he lost most of the fight and pulled out a late KO win. But he just couldn't do anything. He just was stymied, unable to implement anything. He has to learn how to start way faster and way better. Those first 2 rounds were 1,000,000% Sandhagen won easily. And there wasn't an answer. They kept imploring him to change his tactics, but there just wasn't any openings. There wasn't any availability. And Sandhagen fought an absolutely incredible fight that just deserves a lot of accolades and a lot of claps. And oh my God, it was deserving of a title shot. I think he probably needs to fight one more time. And there's a lot of talk that he called out Merab Dvalishvili, who had an incredible performance against Peter Yan a couple weeks ago. I think that fight will be amazing to make. And then the winner of that fight gets to fight the winner of Cejudo Aljo.
Now, here's a great thing. Like, I think I mentioned this before. So Merab and Sandhagen are going to fight, right? And then what if Merab wins? He goes, sweet, who you got next? Nobody gets to fight my buddy. He's the gatekeeper that nobody can beat. It's like, okay, so this is great. But I can see that happening. Yeah. But I would love to see that fight because Merab has a gas tank. He's just going to keep coming at you. And Sandhagen would have to come up with like a game plan to try to keep this guy off him. And I don't know what that is. Because if Peter Yan couldn't do it, I have no idea what Sandhagen's going to do. Yeah. But he's a very cerebral fighter. So he'll have a game plan of do something that will be very different from Peter Yan, but I want to see it. I want to see what he will come up with.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. There was talk that it could be Sean O'Malley, and I think those two styles, that would be an incredible stand-up war and really good. I think Sandhagen would be able to take O'Malley down and probably dominate, most of the rounds that he wants to implement that strategy. But Merab, for him to call out Merab after that performance against Peter Yan, that's super ballsy. It's incredible. And this really division has really become the best division in the sport, I think. And, there's just so many great fights that have happened and will happen in the next coming months.
It's one of the best divisions in the UFC right now. And there's just a plethora of great fights up and down, like in the top 10 rankings. So I think they should make Sandhagen Davashvili. I think that makes sense. Yeah. And then see what happens after that going forward.
Did you hear who Chito Vera called out?
No,
because Yan. He lost. Peter Yan.
I see that. That's what I mean. It's a plethora of good fights. I love that fight. That's a great fight because now Vera will hopefully learn from this fight. It's like, no, stop giving away the first 2 freaking rounds. Fight.
Yeah.
Fight. Because like that's one guy, Peter Yan. You don't want to do that. You don't want to give him 2 rounds. You're not going to win the fight.
Yeah. No, that was amazing, and I loved hearing that call out too. And I think, holy shit, yeah, there's just constantly incredible fights to have in that division, and it just continues on and on and on. Really super fun. Okay, co-main event, Holly Holm, fresh off a new 6-fight contract at 41 years old. I was quite shocked to see that the fight week that the UFC decided that they were going all in for 6 more fights with Holly, and she did not disappoint. This was in very, very impressive performance for a girl that hadn't been in the cage for quite a while, and came in against a really tough opponent and just dominated this one throughout.
Now, Santos's her game plan was to wrestle Holly Holm because she thought her wrestling was better. It was not.
No,
it was clearly not better. I think Santos was in for a very big surprise when she was like, "Oh, I can't out wrestle her. I can't out grapple her. I can't out anything her." Yeah, I was impressed. I was impressed with Holly Holm's. I think Holly Holm was very much ready for that kind of fight.
Yeah, she had prepared for sure. Yeah, that was the best grappling performance I've ever seen from her too.
Yeah. No, she was prepared for that. She knew that was coming, and she dominated it. Yeah. I thought it would be even, to be honest with you. I didn't think it would just be sheer utter domination on her part, but it was. Totally. She won that easy going away.
Yeah, great to see her come back, and great to see easily getting the victory. Super excited for her, and I've always loved her. Really happy she's back, and hopefully we get to see her very soon. Okay, $50K was also given out to the winner of the previous fight, featherweight fight between Nate Landwehr and Austin Lingo. Don't like Landwehr. I'm not a fan of this guy at all. Glad for him. Good for him and getting this $50K and getting this victory. What did you think about his win?
Wow. Okay. All right. First off, I'm going to say that Lingo started off well with good boxing, really good boxing. It's just that Landwehr's offense was more diverse, and the pressure that he was putting on Lingo was beginning to wear on him. It was beginning to wear on him to the point where all of a sudden Landwehr in the second round was really beginning to take over. And then once he did that, got him to the ground and got that rear naked choke finish. It was a very impressive win by Landwehr against a very tough dude. Lingo was not an easy fight.
I don't like rednecks in the sport. He's one of the worst rednecks. I just can't stand the guy. I wish he'd just go away and we would get somebody in there. It's a lot better than him. Not a fan. Don't want to talk about him anymore. Let's talk about the Macy Barber victory over Andrea Lee. This was another example of ridiculous judging. This was a split decision. Andrea KGB Lee did not deserve to get her hand raised in this one. I was shocked that it ended up in a split decision, and Macy Barber, great victory by Barber.
Great victory by Barber. I thought that she was definitely ahead in the striking with their combos and such, and I just thought that she had momentum throughout the entirety of the fight. And I thought that was beginning to build after the second round, that she was really beginning to take control of the fight. Good win by Barber, for sure.
Yeah, very good one. Yep,
Yeah.
I'm impressed. She's called the future, and I think she is the future. She's going to move up the ranks and challenge for a title one day, I believe. Okay, the fight that was supposed to take place right before this fight on the card was canceled just as the main event or main card was kicking off. Alex Perez suffered a seizure in the locker room while he was warming up for his fight. Had to pull out of the fight. This has been an incredibly bad string of luck for Alex Perez. Number 6 in the flyweight division, trying to face Manuel Cape, number 9 in the division. Really excited about this fight. Didn't happen. He's had 10 fight cancellations since 2020. He's only been able to have 2 fights in the past 3 years. And this was another big setback. I'm not sure what caused the seizure, but glad it didn't happen in the cage. Didn't happen, in front of, a whole audience. Glad it was caught, and I hope, really, God willing, that everything's going to be fine for him. He can get the medical treatment that he needs, and we won't see this happen again for him.
Yeah, or if the weight cut for the division that he's trying to fight in is too much, then he's gonna have to move up, because that's scary.
Yeah,
That's
they did
super
make an
scary.
announcement that it had nothing to do with weight. They
Oh,
did make that announcement as well.
okay,
So,
good.
yeah,
Good.
thankfully, that was talked about, and they said
Okay,
it was part of it.
okay, that's good. But at the same time, man, okay, so if you get in a seizure just before your fight, I don't know what your medical thing is going on in your body, but that's something that needs to be figured out. And I'm sure that the UFC is like, well, you're not going to fight until we figure this out.
Yeah,
You're not going to fight.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
glad. Yeah. Okay, back to the card. I kind of want to just blast over the Albert Duryev cheating Enji Dekwani. You know how much I hate Russians, and good performance by Duryev, but I hate cheating Russians. They don't deserve any real commentary on our broadcast here. So let's move on to Daniel Pineda against Tucker Lutz. Pineda, also a local Texas guy, fighting a really tough guy with Tucker Lutz. This was a really, really back and forth great battle in the first round. And then Pineda took over in that second round, was able to drop him. He dropped him twice, once in the first, once in the second, and was able to secure a very impressive guillotine choke, getting a win in front of the hometown crowd.
The one thing that I noticed with Pineda was he couldn't miss with his counter right hook. Every time that Lutz was coming in, he'd hit him with that counter right hook. So that was one of his main weapons for sure. He had great knees in the clinch, and then in that second round, when he had his opportunity to dig in that guillotine choke, he got that sucker in. He got it in deep, and it was game over.
Done. I was kind of surprised at the betting line. The Vegas had Tucker Lutz as a big 3-1 favorite, and I thought, hey, Pineda has had 45 mixed martial arts fights. This is a super tough guy. This is a guy that I wouldn't discount and put as the underdog. And I was right. I ended up being very happy. I put a little bit of money on Pineda and ended up being right. It was, I just saw the experience level was just so much different. 45 fights is an impressive amount for a fighter, and he proved me right.
No, I know 45 fights is like, yeah, that's a wealth of experience that you just can't discount. You should never discount that. And Pineda used that to his advantage and got a win in the second round.
Yeah, he's actually had the he's the second most. He has the most second most fights against any active other featherweights. So yeah, I noticed that. He has 28 victories and he has never went to a decision. 28 finishes out of 28 victories. So he doesn't want to send it to the crappy judges in Texas. Doesn't trust them. Just finishes. And 28 for 28, 100% finish rate. That's mind blowing. That's super impressive.
No, that's incredible. I remember when I heard that stat, I was like, oh, geez. I think he's literally the only guy, I believe he is the only guy on the UFC roster that has that.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, especially with that much experience, for sure. Okay, why don't we just quickly fly through the prelim card? We also had a Brazilian, Lucas Alexander against Steven Pedersen. Pedersen, one of the only Texas fighters on this card that wasn't successful. The speed of Lucas Alexander was something that I just continued to write down. Couldn't believe how fast, how easily he was landing his kicks, compromised Pedersen's front leg, made him have to fight southpaw, and just picked him apart. Completely dominated him in this victory.
Yeah, completely dominated him in the stand-up. Yeah, his speed was unbelievable. And Pedersen was just he basically finished that fight on guts and will, and that's about it. That's about all he had to give. But Alexander, that was a complete dominant victory by him.
I felt a little bad because you saw him kiss his son as he's just about to enter the cage. He handed him, a couple of his necklaces and stuff, and hey, his son was looking so happy, and then he gets beat pretty bad. He decided to call it a career. He retired in the cage, hung up his gloves. He unfortunately was 3-5 in the UFC, but those 8 fights match his nickname, Ocho, and he decided that was it. He has a really good coaching career already, and will be part of the MMA community for the rest of his life, I'm sure. I like to see him in a lot of wars. This just wasn't a good matchup for him.
No, this was a horrible matchup for him. The guy was incredibly fast, slick, great on his feet, and had a wealth of experience actually in Muay Thai fighting. So that definitely was not it was not great for Pedersen. Not a great matchup whatsoever.
No. And we saw Alexander made some mention that one of his teammates passed away this past week. He's got a GoFundMe going on. The guy was married with 3 little kids, and he's hoping that if anybody has money that they can spare, it would be very nice and generous to help this family out that lost their father and lost their husband, and it's this rocked their gym and their community, and he made mention of him.
Yeah, no, it was you know what? It's great when fighters use their platform like that to serve notice to friends or family that are suffering or going through something else. And so you use that well.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah. Okay, I do want to mention Trevin Giles, also born in San Antonio. He was raised in Houston, but he's a San Antonio native. Is undefeated in Texas. All the fights that he's ever had in Texas, he has been able to get the victory. He faced a very tough opponent in Preston Parsons, whose nickname is Pressure, and I just kept writing pressure as I was making notes watching this fight today. It was it was a tough fight for Giles, but he's tough as nails and was able to pull out the victory, even though Parsons was very game in this one.
The Parsons was very game, and he walked through a lot of shots that Giles hit him with. A lot of shots that would have dropped other fighters. That Parsons kept on that pressure, man. I was impressed that he had that much pressure on Giles, and this was a very, very, very close fight. Very close fight. Giles just edged him, but Parsons. I was impressed with Parsons' pressure and his toughness.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to see out of that one eye for probably a good week. It was a huge goose egg on the side of his eye, and but as they say, I think even Bisping might have said it. Pressure creates diamonds, and Parsons is going to be good going forward. happy that he fought so well, even though he took abuse, he just kept coming. And this guy is somebody I'm looking forward to seeing again. I want to mention just the opening fight of the night. Victor Altamirano fighting Vinicius Salvador. Hell of a fight. Really, really, really good way of kicking off the card. These flyweights were just going at it like crazy. And I was very impressed with both of them. Ended up Altamirano got the decision, but this was a very, very, very fun fight.
Yeah, fight was up and down. It was like it gave you everything that you wanted, especially in the beginning of start of like the UFC events and everything else. Got the crowd into it, obviously. Very good fight.
Yeah, very good. We've got a 1 week break, no UFC this coming Saturday, so we won't preview anything until next week. We got a big card coming up the following week, but that's it. I do want to mention though this Saturday, Jorge Masvidal's Game Bred Boxing card will take place. I plan to watch it. We talked about it when it was announced, maybe a month or two ago. It's finally here. Roy Jones Jr. against Anthony Pettis, Vitor Belfort against Ronaldo Jacare Souza, Jose Aldo, Jeremy Stevens, and many, many, many other fights on the card. Can't wait. Glad this is finally coming together 1 week before Jorge Masvidal is about to fight Gilbert Burns. It'll be great to see this come together, and I'm excited to see all these guys box.
I'm gonna try to tune in because I'm curious to see what it's gonna look like how it's gonna look, how he's gonna put it together and everything else. I'm just curious. I'm very curious.
I'm excited, and I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be a really good a really good show, and I'm pumped. I definitely recommend a lot of people tuning in. They'll show us some incredible highlights of these guys' careers, some of the best mixed martial artists we've ever seen, and I think it'll be a good show, and I hope it is for Jorge. I really like him, one of my favorite fighters of all time.
Yeah, he's a great fighter, and he's a great personality as well. So I think he's going to do well.
Okay, we only got 15 more minutes or so. Let's just quickly blast into the NBA talk. LeBron James came back much before he was supposed to. They asked him, did any doctors recommend surgery for this injury? He said 2, and they said, oh, really? Well, why didn't you go that route? And he said, because I went to the LeBron James of feet, and he told me not to. He told me I could overcome this and get back onto the court before everybody thought I could. He has returned, and even though the Lakers lost last night, came off the bench, played pretty good, and I think this is really going to propel the Lakers into the playoffs and probably a play-in type scenario, but he's back.
It's amazing. It's just, I don't know how he did that. Nobody does. I don't know if he got like that X gene, so he's got Wolverine's regenerative powers, because I've heard from a lot of other people, it's like, well, a lot of people thought there was no way they was going to be able to do this.
Yeah.
Like none.
Yeah.
0% chance of this happening. And now he's done it again. And so it just goes to show that he's kind of built differently than everybody else.
He sure is, yeah. I don't think I'm going to post this doctor's name. I'm not going to put it out there. If you have feet problems, go to the Michael Jordan of feet, because he's the best, not the second best. LeBron James of feet. I would go to the best, not the second best.
No, well, yeah. Well, I would agree with you, except, well, look at the results of what LeBron did. So,
yeah, that's true. Yeah, he's back way sooner than anybody in the world would have thought. So, okay, I do want to mention the players of the week. We had in the West, Brandon Ingram led New Orleans to a 3-0 record, 31.3 points per game, 10 assists, 6.3 rebounds. Ingram traded for Anthony Davis a while back and really helping the Pelicans for their playoff push. In the East, it's Jaylen Brown, also 3-0 record for the Celtics this week, 31.7 points per game, 8.3 rebounds, and shooting 56% from the field. And Celtics are still really in the hunt to win the East and get another run at a championship.
Yeah, with the Celtics, actually, you know what? I heard comments by Jaylen Brown about, like, because I know that his contract is coming up at some point in time, and they were talking about his contract. It feels like he feels that he's still not getting the respect he deserves, which is kind of weird, because it's very like, weird. Oh no, you're really good, and I think all your teammates know you're really good. I think all your coaches know you're really good. I think all the front office people know you're really good. So I don't know where the disrespect is coming from. Maybe from the fans. I don't know. But if they're coming from the fans, then they're uneducated and stupid, and you shouldn't listen to them, because I can't see Boston trading this guy away.
No, it would be dumb. Yeah, it'd be ridiculous.
I think it would be utterly ridiculous. I think he's a cornerstone of their franchise, and I think he's somebody that they need going forward.
He's so good. Incredible. Yeah, I'm shocked that they would even, there's anything but incredible amount of praise for what he's done. He's really helped just rejuvenate that franchise. Him and Tatum are, two superstars, and they're lucky to have him. That's for sure.
Yes.
Dallas Mavericks, not so lucky right now. Really falling down the Western Conference rankings. Out of a playoff position currently as we sit right now. If the playoffs started tomorrow, they would be out. This experiment has not worked. Their defense is just absolutely brutal. Kyrie, he's been okay, but this experiment hasn't worked.
What they needed was a guy to rebound and play defense. They didn't need Kyrie's offense and no defense. Like they did. That's what they needed. That's not what the team needed. No. So they went for the flashy, gaudy thing, and it has totally blown up in their face. Yeah. And also, too, I'm going to say this. This is not on Kyrie. Kyrie's actually, he's just done his thing. He's done well. He's scoring. He's doing what he's supposed to do. All right? But what he does is not what the team needed in the first place. It never was. Yeah. They needed defense. And then you trade away one of your best defensive specialists on the team. Guess what? Hey, your defense is garbage. It's horrible. It's not very good. So this is what you've created. Now you got to fix it somehow. I don't know what they're going to do.
I don't know if Mark Cuban makes the day-to-day decisions, but he probably had to have signed off on this. He used to be a good basketball mind, but everybody saw they were defensively horrible and they needed something different. But like you say, they went for the splashiness, and it has really blown up in their face. And I don't see Kyrie even staying there, because they're gonna flame out so bad. He actually got into a huge scrap last night with a fan and got him kicked out of the arena. Can't believe that he has, he's not concentrating on the court instead of something in the stands. It's kind of bizarre that he would even get involved in that kind of a thing.
Now here's allegedly, this is what the fan was screaming out: "The world is round. The world is round."
Oh my God, that's awesome! Wow, I would have bought that guy a few beers. That's amazing.
Now, if that's what it is, I'm gonna, for myself, I'm like, can you get thrown out for yelling out "the world is round"? Can you?
Yeah, that's ridiculous. If he did, that's ridiculous. Yeah, I hope that's not true. Getting booted for that. Holy cow. Craziness, eh? Wow. Yes. The world is round. I love it. Let's just quickly. I want to mention Golden State Warriors played yesterday, and they kept giving the ball to Jordan Poole in the crucial moments. They gave it to him at halftime. They gave it to him at the end of the third quarter and the end of the fourth quarter, and he blew it on multiple occasions. turned over the ball, gave the victory away. And I'm shocked that Steve Kerr is not utilizing Steph Curry, Klay Thompson in these pressure situations, turning to a young guy in Jordan Poole, who had a good run last year, but isn't a guy that you can automatically count on in pressure situations. And I was really shocked and surprised, and it really blew up against Golden State, where they had this victory last night, snatched away because of some terrible turnovers to Minnesota, and Karl Anthony Towns hit a big three-pointer at the end to get the victory.
I think, you know what? If you're gonna do an experiment like that, might as well do it in the regular season, getting down to the end, right? Okay. So because like now this is pressure. Yeah. And so I think Steve Kerr goes, let's see what we have here. I already know what we got with the other three guys, with Klay, Steph, and Draymond. I know what those guys can do.
Right.
See what the young cat can do. And I honestly believe that's what he was trying to do. I think he was like, he's trying to set him up, saying, these are the situations that we're going to need you to perform in. This is what I always ask from these guys. They figure it out. Now you're going to have to figure it out.
Yeah, maybe.
He did not figure it out that night.
No, he didn't. But yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, maybe he's trying that experiment in the regular season down the stretch and putting the pressure on him. See how he shakes out. Didn't work this past night. We'll see if he does it again. They need every victory they can get. They don't want to be in this play-in tournament. They want to have a solidified top 6 position so they can move forward. So we'll see. Last NBA note for me, Charles Barkley last night was on 60 Minutes and decided to throw another shot at Kevin Durant, saying that the new NBA players have too thin of skin and can't take any criticism. And he said Kevin Durant was a shining example of that. And Durant immediately got on his Twitter, fired off some anti-Barkley rant as well. And these guys have been going at it for a while, but I'm amazed that Kevin Durant is watching Charles Barkley on 60 Minutes and hearing what he has to say and getting on Twitter that quick. It sort of just reinforces what Barkley was saying. He said he just can't take criticism, too thin a skin, and it's always been the case. And doesn't that exactly show what Barkley was saying?
Of course, because he responded as soon as Barkley said it on 60 Minutes within a couple of seconds or a couple minutes or whatever. But like, yeah, and at the end of the day, should you really actually care all that much?
Yeah.
Yes, they're somewhat your peers. They're Hall of Famers and they're this and they're that, but they're not your actual teammates.
No.
You know who should actually care about all the time is your actual teammates at that time.
Yeah.
What they think of.
Yeah.
But because those are the guys you're going into the trenches, you're going to war with all the time. So all the other stuff, let's be honest, it's noise. It's noise that you can clearly put in the background. Okay. You don't even need to hear it if you don't want to.
Yeah, I was shocked and kind of bizarre. Out of all the things that I watched Barkley do, I just didn't think that Kevin Durant would be watching 60 Minutes and trying to get back at Barkley for another comment about him. Okay, why don't we just quickly end with some NFL talk? I do want to mention my favorite thing that happened over the weekend that I heard was Bobby Wagner is back with the Seattle Seahawks. Much beloved Bobby Wagner, linebacker, 10 years in Seattle, 8 Pro Bowls, helped him to a Super Bowl victory, helped him to a second Super Bowl, was the anchor of that defense, and went to LA and you thought that was it, but he's back. 1 year, $7 million contract. He is a run stuffer. Seattle was last in the NFL last year against the run. He's going to immediately improve that. And great to see that fences were mended. They were able to kiss and make up, and he's back.
Yeah, I know. It was cool to see that he's back. I saw that too as well. I have a sneaking suspicion he's also back for another reason. I think he's going to end his career in Seattle.
Last year. Yeah, could be it. This might be it. Yeah.
I think that's it. I think that I really do. And I think it's fantastic that they were able to make room for it.
Yeah.
Bravo.
Yeah, I hope it's not his last year. A lot of guys do that. They'll sign the 1 day and they'll, ride off in the sunset, as a Seahawk. So, they can have that, as something to always say. But I think he still got it. He was top guy against the run last year, defensively. And that's what the Seahawks need. They need a few more pieces, obviously, to help them out. I hope this isn't his last year, but great to see him back. So thrilled that he's there. The biggest news today about the NFL was Lamar Jackson finally revealed that he has asked for a trade from the Baltimore Ravens. He said he asked for that trade on March the 2nd. March the 7th, they put that non-exclusive franchise tag on him, $32.4 million. And every team in the NFL has been able to negotiate with him to try to sign him to a deal. Not one has stepped up to the plate. Nothing has happened. I don't know if this changes too much, but I guess it does make you aware that this relationship between Baltimore and him is fractured to the point where he does not want to ever play with them again.
Yeah, it's surprising that it came to this. Maybe it came to this. It finally came to this point because of the fact that he doesn't have an agent and that you're dealing with him personally. Maybe that actually helped in that. But the thing that I'm more shocked and surprised at is that nobody's going after him. No. We're talking about Lamar Jackson. I don't. That's the one thing that I'm like, don't really understand that. Like is the rest of the NFL saying, well, he's a bum and he's no good? Yeah, really? He's got no talent. I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm wondering if teams are being scared off because you have to deal with him and not his agent.
Yeah.
I think that's a bigger deal than what I ever thought it was. I think it's a huge deal now because nobody wants to talk to him. Nobody even wants to approach him. And that's, to me, that's like, what? Why would you not want that guy on your team? Are you kidding me right now?
Yeah, MVP of the league just 4 seasons ago, had a decent year last year when he was healthy, has been, dual threat quarterback, still 26 years old and in his prime. It seems like it's collusion to me somehow, some way. Yeah. I can't see why it wouldn't be, because the option on half the league is worse than him, maybe more than half the league.
More than half the league.
Insane that nobody's trying to step up. This is a little rich where you have to give away 2 first-round picks. Maybe because he's made this known that he's asked for a trade, maybe it's not as rich of an ask from Baltimore now that that's out in the public domain. But I don't know. They're going to have to come up with $40 million and 2 first-round picks. It seems, pretty pricey. That's maybe why they're staying away and hoping that they will be able to negotiate something a lot less pricey, pick-wise anyway.
Yeah, or maybe teams are just like, you know what? We'll wait till after the season, after you finish this non-exclusive thing, and then we'll deal with it, right? Yeah. But at the same time, I do have to wonder about collusion. I really do. I look at all of this and I'm like, so is this how you shut people down? Is this how the NFL owners do it? Boys, we'll just get together. So we're all agreed. We're not giving Lamar $200 million.
Yeah.
Aye. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I think there has been collusion in the NFL on a lot of cases, and this sure seems to be a very blatant case of it, because it's very shocking and surprising. 230 guaranteed millions to Deshaun Watson after his fiasco off the field. Russell Wilson, a guy that's much past his prime, getting a couple $100 million. I mean, it's very glaring examples of them doing this with other quarterbacks that don't have the same level of talent at this moment in their careers that Lamar Jackson has.
No, it's just odd. It's just odd because you're just looking at. We're talking about Lamar Jackson again. We're talking about Lamar Jackson. We're talking about Action Jackson. talk about one of the most exciting players to ever grace the fields of the NFL.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to give him a contract. Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's brutal. Yeah. Well, the weird thing about NFL is such a long off season. There's a lot of time to put this together before the season kicks in. Same with the Aaron Rodgers deal. They're going to just talk about that to death. It's going to happen. He's going to suit up for the Jets this year. Just wait, cool it. The deal will be made. Lamar Jackson, I don't think is going to throw a pass for Baltimore Ravens ever again. He'll be in a new uniform this offseason. But the NFL has the longest offseason out of any North American professional sports, and it's a ways away. So nothing very urgent to make it happen right away. But the urgency that I see to just happen is it's Dame time. It's time to end this podcast, send you off. And I'm so glad you're off work. I'm so glad everybody was able to celebrate your birthday with you tons. And the weather's suddenly kicking in great. You and I have places to go. We got Smitty's, the courtside, and AJ's, and we're going to get together. I need to buy you a birthday drink because I didn't buy one for you this past week. So let's get together. We'll watch some NCAA or some playoff basketball. We're into the second last week of the NBA, so it's coming, man. It's coming. So have yourself an awesome evening, and we'll talk over the next few days. We'll make something work where we can get together.
Yeah, definitely. I look forward to it, and enjoy the rest of your evening, my friend. We will talk to you later.
Thanks so much, buddy. You too. Cheers. Bye for now. Okay. Wow. Okay. That flew by. That was awesome. Glad we could get Jason out when he needed to and wanted to. And that was a lot of topics covered, a lot of fun. UFC was great. There was so much good sports. I love that March Madness. What a tournament this year. It's been phenomenal. I watched some amazing golf on the weekend. The match play was really fun. Lots of sports going on. This is such a good time of year. And the game is close to being finished. Denver's up 3, 114, 111 on the Joel Embiid less Sixers. 13.3 seconds left. Referees are at the scores table trying to figure out something right now currently, but looks like right now Denver's in the driver's seat to get the victory. I do want to mention on Wednesday, I will be doing a Major League Baseball preview show that will have some incredible baseball minds. We got great guys coming in. Barry Grant Jr. and Dale Corey will be gracing us with their presence, and we'll be doing an amazing preview show of the upcoming MLB season. Tomorrow is the last day of spring training. Wednesday, they have the whole league has a day off, and Thursday we get to see first pitches. So please tune in and check out our podcast on Wednesday. It's going to be a lot of fun. These guys are great and bring it and have tons of baseball knowledge. So it'll be a blast. I also want to thank our partners and sponsors. Appreciate all the support. Anchor.fm, the easiest place to make a podcast. Phenomenal at posting on multiple podcast platforms for us. If you want to do what Jason and I just did, just go to anchor.fm. Verbero, the hockey equipment and apparel company, an industry leader in technology, performance, and value. And of course, the V350 stick is a must-have for any hockey player in your midst. Pampas Impossibilities, they are designers of West Coast pretty things for your house and house, apartment, townhouse, whatever you have. They can come in, spruce it up, make it look great. I really recommend them to anybody that's in the local area around here. And also, don't forget Forever Living, the aloe vera company for health and beauty products. You can purchase those products on our website at very good discounted rates. Love all the products, use them throughout my entire repertoire in my house. And appreciate your support as always. We are doing great things. Please go to our website, check out CompleteSportsMedia.com, CompleteMediaNetwork.com. Tons going on right now with us, and we're just going onwards and upwards. Going to have some really great podcasts coming up, and don't forget Wednesday. Please watch the podcast with my incredible guests. We'll have a lot of fun, and you'll be very happy if you tune in. So take care of yourself. And enjoy the rest of your evening, and enjoy this beautiful weather we're having. We are finally into spring, and it makes me feel great, and I'm sure it does for you too. So take care of yourself. Love you lots. Bye for now.